Pottery people, welcome back. Great to see you. As you might notice, Daniela is not with us here today, so this video might not be as good as the ones where we have her help. She makes everything pretty. So Dee, we miss you, but Daniela will be back. But in the meantime, I wanted to share with you some information about pottery toolkits today. What's in them, what you can do to upgrade a little bit, and how to start off with one that's at a low price point and make a couple minor adjustments so that it's a little bit nicer, okay? And you don't have to invest as much to start off with. So the one I'm going to use for my example today is just the cheapest toolkit that I found at my local adorable pottery shop. And it was $11.95 all in total, so it's a really good price point. Let me just quickly go over what's in it and what each tool is used for, so we're just starting off with a better understanding of what came in here. So first we've got our wire cutter. This is used for, and I'm not going to unravel it because it's Pandora's box. Once you do, it's never neat and tidy and cute like this again. But this is used for cutting clay off of the block. So when you have a big 25-pound chunk of clay that you're working with and you need to get off 1 pound, this is what we use to cut the clay off. It's also used to run under your pots that you've created on the wheel so that later on when they dry out a bit, you can lift them off and they're not stuck. So this is a nice tool to have. Next we have a sponge, pretty straightforward. Then you've got your needle tool. If you've investigated or explored clay at all, you know that we use a needle tool quite a lot. It's used mostly for cutting through clay and also to scratch up the surfaces when we need to score to prepare two pieces of clay to merge together. So an example of that would be like when you're making a coffee mug and it's time to attach the handle to the mug, you scratch up those surfaces so that they merge better together when you put them together. I describe it to my younger students as like we want to make it like Velcro, so it'll all lock in together. So that's why we have this needle tool to scratch the surface of our clay sometimes. Next we have trim tools, and there are different ones just for different sizes and shapes of pottery, but basically what these are used for is removing excess clay from the bottom of a pot and also creating a foot. And I have an example I can show you if that's all sounding kind of foreign. So what you do when the piece is leather hard, so it's still wet but you can pick it up and do things with it, is you put it upside down on the wheel and then you use this tool to remove any extra and also to carve out this foot here that you see. So that's what the trim tools are for. And again, like this one you would use just for a larger piece. Next we have ribs. These are called ribs. Essentially these are smoothing tools. Okay, they're just almost every time you use this, it's gonna be because you're smoothing out the surface, whether you're hand building or working on the wheel. And the reason there are two of them is because the metal one is flexible. And you guys, people trash this metal rib. This is the only rib that I use. There's a lot of fancy ribs out there, but I feel like this one gives me the smoothest surface, whether I'm hand building or working on the wheel. So, I mean, it's a cheapy little rib, but it's the only one I use. And then the wooden one obviously is not flexible. So it's just depending on what you need. That's why they give you both of these. Last but not least, the ever ambiguous wooden sculpting tool. This is, I would say this doesn't have one particular purpose. You just kind of use it however you need it, okay? So that's what that's there for. Now, I think this toolkit is great if you're starting out. I love the price point because if you don't know how far you want to go on your clay journey, you know, it's not much to have to invest. It's not too much of a stretch. And all of the tools in here for the most part are going to work just fine. There are a couple upgrades that I would suggest making to this kit. If you can't do it though, these tools are still gonna be fine for you, okay? So the first thing is the sponge. And it's kind of nice because that's the cheapest thing in the kit to replace, but this is a synthetic sponge and this is a natural sponge. You can tell this is the natural one because it's porous. And this is not a special clay tool. Any type of natural sponge that you can find is going to kind of be better than this. It's going to feel better and it's going to last a lot longer. And I'll show you what these do over time. I have one right here that's been hanging around my studio. I need to get rid of it. But they just kind of start to deteriorate and they'll get little crumbs in your clay and it's just sort of a hassle. So if you can, I would say for a couple of dollars, just go ahead and upgrade to a natural sponge, and you might even have one just laying around at home that would be better than this guy. Okay, so that's one thing. Also, I like to add an X-Acto knife to the pottery toolkit because it cuts a lot cleaner, especially if you're doing a lot of hand building. I think this comes in really handy for you. Now, I'm not adding this in replacement of the needle tool as a cutting device. I'm not adding this because this is a bad needle tool. This needle tool is fine. This is just a little bit, like I said, it's going to give you a cleaner cut. Because if you think about it, the needle tool is it's a thin tool, but it's still round. So when you drag it through and you're cutting clay with it, it kind of leaves those little crumblies on the side that you then have to go back and refine and kind of, smooth out. So this just kind of helps you avoid that step. But if you can't do it, your needle tool is going to work just fine. All right. And I think that about covers it. I hope that this was helpful. And, maybe if you've been looking around at pottery toolkits and wondering about why there can be such a variety of price range, you really don't need those nice tools until you get further down the road. And really, I still use some of just these basic ones. So it's all about what you like and what you discover you like along the way. So, I've said it, I'll say it again. I think this is a great toolkit for you, and all of the tools in here are going to work just fine. And with those minor upgrades, it's going to be just even a little bit better. So thank you so much for joining me today to talk about and geek out on pottery tools. I really like tools, so this was fun for me to do. And I, again, appreciate you joining me. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we will see you then. Bye, pottery people.